Hi guys, welcome back to In Case of Econ Struggles. Today we're talking about inflation, and I'm going to use a simple macroeconomic model to explain part of inflation. The model we're going to talk about today is called the ISLM model. If you would like to learn a lot more about the ISLM model, I've got plenty of videos on my channel, but hopefully this will get you the basics before we start going into inflation. Now, the ISLM model has three lines or three parts to it coming from three different markets. We've got this nice blue downward sloping line called the IS curve or the spending curve. We've got this upward sloping pink line called the LM curve. That LM curve captures things like the money supply, money demand, as well as the price level. We also have this vertical line, this full employment line that you can see denoted with Y bar. This means this is the point at which the economy wants to go towards if we don't do anything in terms of fiscal policy or monetary policy. The economy is always going to want to shift back to this nice orange line at Y bar. Now, we don't actually know where Y bar is. We're making our best guess. We just know the economy is tending towards that level of output. Now, the background for inflation is, of course, COVID-19, where at first we had a large negative shock to spending. The large negative shock to spending shows up as a decrease in the IS curve or the IS curve shifting to the left. Now, when the IS curve shifts to the left, notice that we are under our potential of the economy or this Y bar. Also notice that we are going to be at where the IS and the LM curve intersect in the short run. That is our short run equilibrium. You can see that we have low output here. Now, how do we fight this recession? Well, for Congress, we introduce spending. We introduce stimulus packages. We're trying to basically take this green IS curve and move it back to the blue curve. Now, maybe we're worried after 2008, we'll get into this more in a different video, but maybe we're worried that we're not quite going to stimulate the economy enough, so we'd much rather overstimulate the economy than understate the economy and have the recession go on longer than needed. So maybe we overstimulate and we go all the way over to this red line. Again, we're in a short run equilibrium, so we're looking at where the IS and the LM curve intersect. We notice that we are above our nice Y bar point, which we know the economy wants to go towards. So what's going to happen if we don't do anything is the economy is going to start shifting back by itself. How does the economy shift back by itself? Well, it's not that people decide to stop spending by themselves. It's that something on this LM curve is going to change. Specifically, what's going to change is the price level, because that is something that is not affected by the Federal Reserve, which affects money supply. It's not affected by Congress, which affects spending. So price level is our mechanism for heading back towards that long-run equilibrium at Y bar. Now, notice that this means the LM curve is going to have to shift up and to the left. That reflects an upward trend in prices. So what's going to happen is we are going to start shifting from this pink LM curve up towards this purple LM curve. This purple LM curve is where the economy wants to go, and that's where we are now. We are currently between this pink line and this purple line because prices are going up. Prices are going up in order to shift the LM curve back to a point at which output is at its natural rate or Y bar, and that's why we are currently seeing high inflation. Now, I've got some other videos that are coming up if you thought this was interesting to continue talking about inflation and what's going on right now. We'll talk about how the Federal Reserve can fight inflation and not let it just persist. Talk about the interest rate hikes that you may have seen in the news recently and why that is effective in fighting inflation. We'll also talk about central bank preferences. We'll talk about what the central bank or the Federal Reserve wants. Talk about something called a loss function and also how they seek to stabilize output. But hopefully this gives you a little better idea about why inflation is happening. If it did, make sure to like and subscribe, especially click that bell if you're looking forward to some of these new videos. And we will see you next time for another case of Econ Struggles.